Hi friend, I hope and trust that you are well and that you've been kept safe. So welcome back into my YouTube channel, a platform where I normally share my ideas, where I normally share my mind with you, simply because I love you, simply because you're my best friend, and simply because this journey requires somebody like you as my friend. So feel like the light praise. So if you're new here, consider liking, consider subscribing, and also liking, and don't forget about sharing. So today I'll just decide to share with you something brief concerning fear. I perceive that to understand what we call fear, because fear, first of all, is an enemy. So you're not supposed to take it that lightly. Fear is an enemy by itself. So before we proceed, I will just wish you, or request you to allow me to take a sip of my colorless juice. It is healthy because it is sugarless. You see? So allow me to take a sip so that we may proceed. Okay, so I have told you that we are going to learn something brief concerning fear. So according to the dictionary, fear has been defined as an unpleasant feeling that is triggered by a perception of danger, which might be imaginary or it might be real. Because fear might be triggered by two things. It might be a real thing, or it may be something that is just an imaginary. You see? So what causes fear in any sense? First of all, it may be caused by a past event, which I can categorize it as a real thing. So a past event might be something like you may have had a trauma in the past time, you see. So after that aspect, or after you have been affected by that action, or you have been traumatized somewhere, then you develop that aspect of fear, you see. So you start to view others, or you start to view situations or circumstances in the form of something that can make you to go back to that action or that situation that led you to be traumatized, you see. So it might come from that aspect of trauma. Another thing, fear can be caused, or it can be a result of imagination. You see, just perceiving or just imagining something might happen, or just imagining something wrong might happen, and you see. But most of the time, fear is caused by imaginations. You see, most of the things we fear, they are not real in real sense. They are just imaginary. You see, it's like you find somebody going for an interview, and instead of that person psyching him or herself up, he or she perceives that he is going to fail. You see, he or she starts to imagine him or herself failing to have that opportunity for the job or the vacancy that he or she is seeking. You will find that by at the end of it all, he or she may end up failing that very interview. Why? Because he or she allowed that fear to trigger her mind to perceive things in a different or in a negative angle, you see. And one thing I understand is that whatever you perceive in your mind, or you perceive in your brain or your mind, most of the time it comes to pass, you see. So the moment you develop that fear, you develop that low self-esteem, you develop that aspect of perceiving something wrong is going to happen. Most of the time, it may happen, you see. So that is why I'm telling you that most of the times we fear things that are just imaginary, you see. You just find yourself developing that fear out of nowhere in the real sense, you see. So one thing I will just desire you to know is that fear has got its own effects in our lives, you see. And the effects are very enormous, or their effects are very huge, because they affect us in all dimensions, in our relationships, in our daily operations, in our businesses, you see, it affects us very much. You see? One of the things that fear can lead you to, and it's an effect of fear, is that you'll find yourself failing in a lot of functionalities. You see? Most of the time you'll find that you may develop that fear, and out of it you may find that even your functionality of your body, it has been affected. You'll find that the moment that aspect of fear has grown within you, it may end up bringing some complication even in your body and your body functionality, you see. So that's one effect of fear. You'll find that most of the time, the moment you develop that fear, or you perceive something is going to happen that is long, you'll find that somebody may develop that fast heartbeat, you see. So the moment you're exposed to that aspect of fearing anyhow, you find that even your health aspect has been affected. You see? Another effect of fear is that you'll be able to encounter, or you'll be able to have a delayed opportunities. What do I mean by delayed opportunities? You'll find that opportunities that had been presented unto you, because of that fear of you taking advantage of them, you end up failing to enjoy the benefits, or you fail to enjoy that aspect or that opportunity that you had been presented unto you. You see, you may be even, it may be like, because that aspect is wide, you may be having an opportunity even to venture in something, but because of that fear that venture might end up bringing a loss unto you, because you develop that fear, you find that automatically you will not be stable, or you will not be in that position to venture in that thing. And out of it, you find that if that something could be in a position to help you in another dimension, and because you fear to venture in it, automatically you have to delay a benefit about that venture you could have ventured into. So another thing that fear leads us into, or another effect that fear brings about, is the aspect of low self-esteem. You see, the moment you develop that fear, most of the time, because of the consistent failures in what we were about, or you were supposed to venture into, you'll find that out of that consistent failure, you develop low self-esteem. You see, you cease to believe in yourself, you cease to have that courage to stand firm. So you find that you develop that low self-esteem, you see, because fear by itself, as I told you, is an enemy. And I understand that you perceive what you mean by an enemy, because an enemy comes only to destroy, you see? An enemy comes to deny you an opportunity, you see. So the moment you develop that aspect of fear within you, and you allow it to grow, automatically you'll be able to find that you cease even to stand on your own. You cease to have that self-esteem. You cease to have that courage and that belief in yourself. Why? Because of those consistent failures, you see. So it's my challenge unto you that don't allow fear to intimidate you anyhow, because the moment you develop that, you allow fear to grow, or you allow fear to take dominion over you, automatically even in life you cease to be that productive as you had thought or had imagined yourself. So there's some ways, or there's few nuggets I can share with you on how you can be able to overcome this aspect of fear. One of it is that learn to explore those things that you fear. You see, most of people have that stage fright. You see, the moment you are given a platform to share your mind with people, or to share something with people, because of that fear, you are not able to even to ascend onto that platform, or onto that point, or that position you are given to address people. You see, so you find that automatically, due to that fear, you are not able even to address, you are not even able to share your mind, you are not able even to take those opportunities that you had presented unto you. So I can encourage you, those things that you fear, try for your best to explore them. For example, you might have that stage fright. I can encourage you to start by addressing few people. It may be several people, like 3 or 5. Then with time, you shall be able to address 10, 20, and you shall find yourself, with due time, you shall be able to address even a huge group of people. Why? Because with time, you develop that courage. So what I can encourage you, seldom evade those platforms or those things that normally cause fear unto you. Face them head on, because the moment you face them, you automatically find that even those things that you are fearing about or you are fearing concerning them, they were not real. They were just imaginary in your mind. They were not real in the real sense. They were not real. It's just that you perceived something wrong could happen, or you perceived a failure in whichever dimension, and that is why you fail to face those things that makes you to fear. You see, so I can encourage you, make it a point to confront those things that make you to fear. Because the moment you do that, you develop courage. The moment you face one of it and you achieve, or you are able to conquer that dimension, then you're able to develop that self-esteem. You're able to develop that courage. You're able to develop that self-belief that I can manage this. You see? And with the due time, you find that you develop that courage, and automatically, even your self-esteem starts to boost up. Yeah, I decided to share with you that because it is very crucial, because most of us have been denied opportunities, or have been denied to enjoy other things. For example, you could have a crash somewhere, somebody had crashed on, but because you feared to confront him or her, automatically anachukuliwa na mwingine, because you feared. But the moment you develop that courage, the moment you develop that aspect of believing in yourself and facing those things that you fear head on, you find that automatically you develop that courage. With the due time, you develop that courage until you'll be able to have that high self-esteem that even if other people are watching you doing what you are doing, you are confident in doing it. Because you yourself have developed that self-esteem to believe in what you are doing, to believe in facing those difficulties or facing those challenges or those things that you face. So I can encourage you, those things that you fear, face them head on. Don't evade them, usijaribu kuziepuka, just face them, and automatically you find yourself that aspect. You find that with due time you develop that courage, and that aspect of fear has been suppressed. So thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you very much. I perceive or understand that, well, I believe and trust that you've gotten what I've shared with you today. So don't allow fear to intimidate you in whichever way, because the moment you allow it to intimidate you, then it is going to ruin a lot of opportunities that you could have enjoyed. It is going to ruin a lot of circumstances that could bring a joy or happiness or fulfillment unto you. You see? That is why I decided to share with you some that briefly, because I love you and because I would like you to grow in all dimensions, and much more the moment you have that self-esteem being very high. Automatically be able to do a lot of things. You'll be able to handle a lot of things with that confidence, without fearing anybody or fearing anything. Well, and because my throat has gotten a bit dry, allow me just to take a sip of this my juice. Don't mind it being colorless, and being sugarless is healthy for my body. So thank you for giving me that chance to share with you that belief nuggets. I understand and I perceive that if they have helped me in one way or another, they will also help you. So I never had much for today. Just to wish you a good moment, even as you go through those nuggets. I understand they will help you somewhere. So have a wonderful moment and be blessed. So consider liking, consider subscribing, consider sharing, much more if you are new here. So be blessed and be blessed in abundance. Nice time.